they are under financial robustness, and they can be able to incur all its expenses related to foreign trade. However, in due course of time, and with strengthening of cross-border relations among trading partners, various sources of trade financing have come up, which may ensure complete safety to both importers and exporters of a country, and the most important among them being the strengthening of global financial market operations. So we understand under normal routine business activities. So when we buy something,
तो मेरा तो कल किसी ने छेड़ा है गला इसमें। आ गया।
mechanism. Well, in this concept, countries are involved in cross-border transactions and given flow of goods, services, and capital. Well, this requires definitely dealing in number of currencies we are familiar with, and there are various type of acceptance of family the currencies as well. We understand that previously gold was a major trading channel, which came down around in 1975, around 1% of trade is imported in India, and there then other mechanisms are there, the gold and then these transactions may be settled in advance or at a later date because it may be possible that both wants a product to be delivered against the advance payment. So this all happens. So for that purpose, so a well-functioning global financial system is required, and at times countries may be capital surplus or deficient. The movement of capital across countries follows certain rules. Well, one of the major component that is regarded under the global financing system is foreign direct investment. Very common terms call it as FDI. Basically, it's an investment made by an individual or a firm of one country into the business interest of another country. If an suppose, for example, if an American multinational company intends to set up its operation in India or New Zealand or suppose any other country, either by partnering with the local firm or by opening up its own branch, it is considered as an FDI. FDI is actively operational in open economies that are capable of offering a trained labor force and remarkable economic growth prospects for the investor to invest. Well, it involves both capital investment as well as provisions of management or technology. FDI can be done in multiple ways, which may include entering into a merger or joint venture with a foreign enterprise, or opening of a subsidiary or an associate firm in the foreign land. Well, as in case of in the previous session, which you can recall, there was a concept of foreign banks. So, for the purpose of foreign banks, they may have their offices way back in the different country, but they can have their branch in our country or India, and they can operate. So, this kind of functioning may be in the other business as well. So the threshold for the FDI to establish controlling interest in the business making decisions of the foreign company is set as per the guidelines of the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, that is OECD, which is a minimum 10% stake in a foreign based state. Well, the FDI may be of at least three different types. One is horizontal FDI, another is vertical, and last one is conglomerate type of FDI. In the horizontal, it refers to an investor establishing a business operation in foreign country, similar to that operating in the home country. So there is no problem, no interference with others. So suppose, for example, a cell phone service provider in US opening its store in India, no problem. So he is in the same venture, so doing same thing here. So there is no need for having some sort of partner over here. So it's an independent activity. Then there is a vertical FDI. It refers to setting up of different business-related activities from the investor's main business in the foreign land. So, for example, a manufacturing company in US may wish to set up a company supplying raw materials or parts, or may wish to merge with a local company supplying materials in the foreign country. So there is a sort of partnership. Then the third one, it's a complex one. Well, where a company wish to make an investment in a business in a foreign country, which is not related to its current business in the domestic country. Well, such an investment by investor doesn't involve any prior experience, so they usually opt for a joint venture in a business already operating in that foreign country. Well, there is another concept that is called foreign portfolio investment (FPI). Well, it is in terms of amount, it's a lesser one while comparing with the FDI. So, investment by residents of one country or in a foreign country's securities, which include shares, bonds, well, maybe government or corporate, convertible securities, infrastructure securities, etc. Those investing in these securities are termed as foreign portfolio investors (FPI), and their investment is called as foreign portfolio investment. So FPI is one of the major component of the capital account for a country, and it is reflected in the balance of payments. Well, it consists of passive ownership, unlike FDI, where investors do not have any control over ventures or direct ownership of the property or stake in the company. Well, FPI is mainly encouraged by the differences in equity price scenario, bond yield, prospects of growth, rate of interest, dividends, and rate of return on capital in the foreign country's financial assets. Well, as far as India is concerned, CB has stipulated the criteria of FPI to be less than or equal to 10% of the capital in a company in the year 2016. Well, while above 10% will be considered as FDI. Well, then there is external commercial borrowing, it is called as ECBs. So they can be defined as commercial loans, maybe debt-based funding arrangements between a business and a financial institution such as bank to finance major capital expenditures or operational cost of a company. Well, which can be in the form of bank loans, securitized instruments such as a floating or fixed rate bonds, partially, optionally, or non-convertible preference shares. Buyer's credit or supplier's credit availed from the non-resident lenders with a minimum average maturity period of 3 years. Well, main advantages of ECBs, there may be advantages as well as disadvantages. So let's first explore the advantages. Well, ECB is allowed by Government of India as a source of financing existing as well as new investment project at a much cheaper rate. Well, ECBs are mainly encouraged in the infrastructure areas such as telecom, railway, power, urban infrastructure, as well as small and medium enterprises, that are SMEs. Well, it can be assessed both under automatic, or approval routes. Those access under automatic route do not require any approval from the government of India or RBI. Well, such ECBs are usually applied for investments in industrial sector, infrastructure sector, or some specified service sector in India. As far as the approval mode is concerned, they require certain specific criteria as well. Well, ECBs have other advantages such as diversification of the investor base and providing international recognition to the company. Well, at the same time, there may be certain disadvantages. ECBs tend to increase a country's external debt, and as a result, increase the borrower's foreign exchange rate risk. Such foreign currency fluctuation may lead to a loss, which may succeed the saving in the interest cost. Well, to avoid these, there is a capping set on the ECBs in a financial year and an overall cap on the ECBs in different sectors, which are subject to change by the RBI or Government of India or regulatory based on the monitoring operations. Well, then there's the international money market. The international trade and foreign direct investments have by far witnessed a large significance across the globe. As far as its consideration for expanding its base for trading goods and services across national borders is concerned. So it is a source of global financing. Well, international money markets make this financing much easier through facilitation of borrowing of foreign currencies for financing its imports or debts. The international money markets usually comprise of at least three different types are there. One is Euro currency market, another is Euro bond, another is Euro notes and Euro commercial papers. The Euro currency markets are any freely convertible currency which is deposited in a bank outside a country of its origin is termed as Euro currency. Well, that US dollar, for example, if deposited in a bank in London or Singapore, are termed as Euro dollars. US dollar deposits in Hong Kong, Malaysia, terms of Euro dollar deposits. So such kind of deposits are being maintained in a foreign bank or in foreign branch of a domestic bank. Such banks which accept deposit and facilitate loans in foreign currency are termed as Euro banks. So it has nothing, this euro has nothing to do with the European Union. It is a terminology that is used over there. Then Eurobond market. Eurobonds are bonds traded in any freely convertible currency outside a country of its origin. So similar to the currency. So it is the Eurobond, similar terms. Well, the issuance of Eurobonds is usually handled by a depository bank or an international financial organization on behalf of borrower, which underwrites the bond and takes a guarantee of purchasing the entire issue. Well, the Eurobond market have been seen enormous growth since 1980, and a much wide range of credits are being issued at present, which includes emerging market corporates and sovereign and structured notes, assets and mortgage-backed securities. Well, last is Euro notes and Euro commercial papers. Well, Euro banks issue short-term notes issuance facilities (SNIFs) or simply note issuing facilities (NIFs) as a low-cost alternative of Euro bonds, which permits the borrower to issue their own short-term Euro notes that are distributed by those Euro bonds banks to other foreign countries or companies apart from the borrowing country or company. These are short-term debts issued by large corporate houses with excellent credit ratings. Well, as far as NIFs are concerned, they usually include various contract features offered by multiple pricing components, which include a market-based rate of interest and quite a few more fees known as participation facility and underwriting fees. Other fees that are charged annually or based on a full size of NIFs. Under the NIFs, the notes that are being issued are also at times referred to as Euro commercial papers if they are not underwritten. Well, there is a difference between US and Euro commercial CPs. The maturity period of Euro CP on an average is twice as long as that of US CP. The Euro CP is significantly traded in secondary market, whereas US CP is traded by its actual investors only. The central commercial banks as well as the corporations are also an essential part of the investors base in case of Euro CP, whereas US CP holders are mainly confined to the money market funds only. Well, then there is a foreign aid. in the event of disasters, or in the event of any calamity, in the event of any need as well. Economic disaster you can also consider here also. So there is a concept of foreign aid by foreign countries to the domestic country, to domestic market under certain conditions. So that is considered, that is called as foreign aid. And usually, underdeveloped or developing countries are more and more dependent on foreign aid for various purposes, to fight, to reach the global goals, global competitiveness as well. So it is any kind of assistance that a country voluntarily transfers to another country in the form of gift, grant, or loan is known as foreign aid. So it is usually offered by developed nations to a developing or least developing nations during the times of natural calamity, economic crisis, or during political instability. Well, according to UN, the developed countries are required to have an expenditure share of at least 0.7% of their gross national income on foreign aid. Well, you have recently witnessed a recent example in the crisis situation in our neighboring country, Sri Lanka. We are considered as a developing country, not a developed country. I need to recall it correctly. So, where we extended immediate help to our neighboring country, that was a sort of foreign aid. We extended the fuel, diesel over there. We extended the food materials also, because there was a huge crisis over there. So that is the kind of aid that can be offered. So it is not restricted to developing countries. It may be maybe a country that is offering aid to its neighboring country or any other country in the event of crisis, on the basis of any reason, maybe humanitarian reason or any other reason. Well, the foreign aid can be, it may be a FDI. Well, private FDI by multinational companies is primary type of foreign aid in the form of foreign development assistance. Well, they are usually in the form of equity holdings of foreign assets by non-residents of a recipient country. Well, usually US company, for example, may engage in FDI by purchasing shares of an Indian company. It's an example. Well, foreign aid can be in the form of several development tools which are being funded by the government agency or foreign non-profit organizations to tackle problems associated with poverty. And now environment is also there. So this usually comes in the form of humanitarian assistance from the wealthier countries, which are member countries of OECD. Well, engaging in foreign trade is a third primary type of foreign aid, where a country's openness to foreign trade leads to development process, especially among the least developed or poorer countries, along with political stability and economic freedom. Well, then there is a bilateral aid. This kind of foreign aid is prevalent where the government of one country transfer money to other kind of assets directly to the recipient country. An example of bilateral aid is the American bilateral aid programs, which aim at spreading economic growth, development, and democracy across various countries in the globe. Then there is a military aid. Well, it is also a form of bilateral aid in which a nation involves in purchasing of arms and sign direct defense contracts with the US primarily. Well, the federal government in some instances procures the arms and transport them to recipient country. Well, Israel receives major military aid from the US here. Well, multilateral aid. Similar to bilateral aid, multilateral aid is provided by many governments instead of one towards the recipient country. In this case, a single international donor such as World Bank collect funds as donated by the governments of the different countries and transfers the same to the recipient country. Well, multilateral aid comprises a very small part of US Agency for International Development Fund aid programs. Well, then it's the most crucial, that is humanitarian assistance. It is a form of aid which is usually provided in times of natural disasters, political instability, or a severe economic crisis. Such kind of efforts get a higher amount of private funding than other type of aids. South Asia received more funds from the advanced economies during an earthquake which recorded a magnitude of 9.1 and was triggered by a tsunami killing around 2 lakh people. Well, then there is a concept of trade financing that we somehow touched in the very beginning of this session. The exporters may require financing while buying or manufacturing of goods, whereas importers may require the same for the purpose of inventory investments or procuring goods and services from foreign land. There are five principal means of trade financing, which are being ranked in terms of increasing risk to its exporters. The first one is cash in advance. Second is documentary credit, that is DC. Third is draft. Fourth is consignment, and the last one is open account. Well, as far as the cash in advance is concerned, this offers the greatest protection to the exporter as transactions are done mostly in cash, either before or after the arrival of goods. Well, an exporter usually prefers cash terms in situation like political instability in importing countries, or when the buyer's credit seem to be risky or doubtful, as they may cause delay in payments or even completely stop the fund transfers. Well, cash in advance in such cases enables the exporters of both finance its production and reduce marketing risk. Well, then there is a documentary credit, as we mentioned, as I mentioned in the previous slide. Then that these tools are in the increasing risk order. So the first one, cash in advance, is the least risky one. So now the associated risk is increasing, and it is documentary credit. So it also called as documentary letter of credit is a form of letter which is addressed to a seller or exporter, written and signed by a bank acting on behalf of a buyer, or that is called importer. Bank promises to honor the drafts drawn on itself if the seller confirms to the specific conditions as mentioned in the documentary credit. And the major types are revocable DCs, irrevocable DCs, and confirmed DCs, unconfirmed DCs, and transferable DCs. Then the third instrument is draft, commonly used means of financing an international trade as an unconditional order in writing, usually signed by the seller or exporter and addressed to a buyer or importer or importer's agent ordering a buyer to pay on demand or at a fixed future date. The amount mentioned on its face it is also called as bill of exchange. Well, a draft serves three most important functions, which include provision of written evidence in clear and simple terms of a financial obligation, well, enabling both the parties, importer and exporter, to potentially reduce the cost of financing. Provision of a negotiable and unconditional instrument, that is, payment must be made to any holder despite any disputes over the principal commercial transaction. Well, drafts can be negotiable under the following conditions. The conditions must met so that draft is negotiable. First, it must be in a written format. The first condition. Second is must be signed by issuer, drawer, must be a certain sum of money, must be payable to order of bearer, well, must be an unconditional order of pay, and must be payable on demand or at a fixed future time. Well, the drafts may be at least of four different types. One is sight draft, drafts paid on presentation or else dishonored. Well, time drafts payable at some specified future date. Mature time draft is termed as its usance or tenor, said to become an acceptance if it is being accepted by the drawee by authorizing with a signature and date. A draft which is accepted by a bank is termed as banker's acceptance, and that drawn on and accepted by a commercial enterprise termed as a trade acceptance. Well, then there is a third is clean draft. This kind of draft is not accompanied by any other official paper and is usually required for non-trade payment settlements. Usually, uh, it is primarily focused on pressurizing any non-complaint debtor to pay or accept the draft, failing which may lead to damage to its credit reputation, that is creditworthiness in the market. And the last one is documentary draft. It can either be sight or time draft and are usually accompanied by other official documents which are to be delivered to the drawee on payment or on acceptance of the draft. The official documents include mainly the bill of lending in negotiated form, the commercial invoice or trading, consular invoice, documents certifying the shipment of goods and shows information such as consignor, the consignee and value of shipment, and an insurance certificate as well. Well, the fourth one is the consignment. Under the consignment, goods sent are only shipped but are not sold to the importer. In this kind of an arrangement, the goods are left in possession of an authorized third party to sell. Well, the exporter, on selling goods in consignment, draws a portion of the profits, either as a free trade fees or a commission. Well, goods and services sold in the consignment arrangement mode can be of low commission and low time investment way of selling. Well, this mode of financing usually involves large risks. The exporters need to carefully verify the credit risk involved along with the availability of foreign exchange in the importer's country. Well, if the buyer defaults, it becomes difficult for the exporter to collect the payments for his shipment. Then the last one, in terms of risky condition, is the open account. Well, open account selling involves shipping of goods first and then billing the importer later. The trade terms are arranged between the importer and the exporter, and in this kind of arrangement, the exporter doesn't have much information about the importer's obligation to pay, but open account selling is usually preferable with the foreign affiliates or with a customer with whom the exporter has long history of favorable business of dealing or understanding or good reputation. We can say that. While open account selling has seen a vast expansion with increase in the volume of international trade, as it has witnessed an improvement in trade information about the importers and a greater acquaintance with the exporting in the general. Well, the benefits of an open account selling include greater flexibility of the trading and payments, while no specific date of payment set, lower cost and fewer bank charges. Well, next component is bank and trade financing. Well, banks are usually involved for providing loans or a documented credit when it comes to financing international trade. However, well, as financing become a fundamental aspect of trading, the banks, especially the international banks, have started evolving as well. The banks now provide financing of discrete trade deals and assist with comprehensive solutions to trade needs, such as facilitation of combined lending by bank with subsidized funds from the government, export agencies, international leasing, other non-bank financing resources, along with other associated political and economic risk issuance. Then another important aspect is American Depository Receipt, that is ADRs. It is a negotiable certificate which is being issued by the US bank and represent a specific number of shares of a non-US company which is being traded on a US exchange, is termed as American Depository Receipts. They are measured in US dollars and are transacted in the US stock market, similar to stocks of any other US company, and are issued in US by the US bank. ADRs are listed in either New York NYSE or MX or NASDAQ. Well, ADRs offer US investors an opportunity to purchase stocks of foreign companies in the US market in US dollars. On the other hand, it also benefits the foreign companies by enabling them to attract American investors and trade its share in US market without the hassle and expense of listing in the US stock exchange. ADRs can be, well, sponsored ADRs and non-sponsored ADRs. Sponsored ADRs, when a foreign company enters directly into an agreement with the depository bank of US for maintaining records, communicating with the holders, payment of dividends, and other shares. So it is a sponsored ADR. As far as the non-sponsored ADR is concerned, when there is no involvement of any US depository bank and the foreign company wishes to establish itself in the US trading market with the help of a broker dealer, it's a non-sponsored ADR. Well, it may be further three types: level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 does not intend to raise capital, and the level 2 are either listed on an exchange or quoted on NASDAQ. And the level 3, the most important category of ADR, which are issued to raise money and trade in the US exchange market. Well, in case of sponsored areas, a fee is charged by the US Depository Bank while making an agreement with the foreign company for rendering its services to the ADR holders. Well, such fee is called as custody fee and is often deducted from the gross dividend by the foreign company, and the net dividend is paid to the ADR holders. Well, then there is GDRs. It is Global Depository Receipts. Well, it's a bank certificate which is issued in more than one country for shares in a foreign company. Well, it is termed as global depository receipt. They are listed in two or more markets, mainly US and Euro markets. Well, a fund company, when issues share to a depository bank or the share trading country, the depository bank then issues GDRs against these shares to the investors of the other fund countries. In case of GDRs, the GDR holders are not the shareholders of the share issuing company. The depository bank becomes the main shareholder of the issuing company and also has the voting right also. Well, there are certain trends in the India's global sources of financing. Indian domestic market have been sluggish initially when it comes to raising the funds for their business needs. Well, as a result, Indian companies have shifted their focus towards international fundraising. Sources through several traditional, non-traditional channels available, some of which are first, equity-based channels are open for the Indian business environment as a source of financing. They may be in the form of FDI policy, which is a liberal and balanced policy where global investors can invest in almost all sectors. Saving in a few sensitive sectors like retail and insurance is quite easy, as 100% foreign equity participation is available. Then investment funds in the form of pure financial funds, sovereign funds, etc. Then partnership with foreign companies. Well, listing of Indian companies in stock exchange and other alternative investment exchanges is available in most of other advanced economies. Well, this can be available through organic listing by means of initial public offering IPO or with the help of reverse merger with an already existing company followed by stock exchange offerings. Canada, US, and Singapore stock exchange are best suited for such kind of transactions. Well, equity guaranteed debt rely on the reputation of the joint venturing partner or a significant partner shareholder that floats a loan for the Indian companies and guarantees it locally, thereby making fundraising by Indian business easier and more economical. Well, then there are debt-based instruments which include major banks and other financial institutions and primary choices for raising debt funds. So with this, we have covered various sources of global financing. Let's move to the last unit, that is technological environment. Well, it is quite clear and evident from our observations in our surrounding. No company can be possibly control the global environment, and hence adoption of technology may seem to be quite essential for the business to ensure a competitive advantage. Technology is crucial for the entire global business world, even though lowering of trade barriers have theoretically helped expand markets and production potential worldwide. The advent of technological innovations has added a practical reality to it. You can see in your surrounding, if we take the example of mobile phone, because it's the fastest growing technology evolving around us. So a decade ago, we all was not very familiar or very inclined towards mobile phone. They were very expensive at that time as well, very bulky in shape, size, not easy to carry, and they have got limited features. And the major feature was calling and SMS facility. That was the major, and I think it was an extension from the pager facility. Initially, there was a introduction of a pager system in which you can send your text message only. There was not possibility of any reverse messaging from that system. That was a pager system. So pager system and the telephone system, they merge to form a mobile device system where you can send a text and you can telephone as well, call also. So two technologies merged, and that was quite popular over the period of time. Later on, there are other features added in that device, like alarm, like that camera. So camera was also like music, like memory, and good number of contacts in it, so reminder. So these features kept on adding from initially traditional monochromatic color to it reaches to the color type of mobile phone. Some games were added also. So with the addition of newer features and in that mobile phone, it replaces a couple of other things, like it replaced our watch. It replace our camera. It replace other devices as well. So it's a combo package. You don't need to carry all those things. Everything is there in your mobile phone, so it replaces things over the period of time. So it is a kind of innovation in the global market, technological market. So it doesn't restrict to one level of technology. It kept on improving, kept on improving. And at the same time, suppose for example, if you set up a huge production line for a basic set of instrument or a phone, and all of a sudden technology improved, so your setup will not be of use for a longer time, because now technology has changed. So there was a need to regular update and upgrade your technology at the pace of its evolution. So that is the consideration of a technological environment in your surrounding, so that it is easily taken up. So there are certain important parameters that can be covered under business necessity. Well, there is a regular communication with the customers, maybe through marketing or other strategies. Efficient business operations are required. It is facilitated when there is technological environment improvement. Well, it impacts on business culture relation, and it is also affecting the business security as well. Well, you can see in earlier days, everything in business was performed manually. Introduction of technology has helped revolutionize the business concepts and models, thereby bringing tremendous growth in the trade and commerce. But it has provided a more faster, convenient, and more efficient way of performing business transactions. Some of the technological uses in international and business environment include accounting system, MIS system, logistic tracking system, customer relationship services, point of sale system, and they have enabled business to expand globally as well. Then communication with customers. In today's world, technology has great importance in building relationship with customers. Well, in a global business environment, and quick and clear interaction with clients globally is necessary. Well, as websites take hours to respond to customers' queries, alongside technological innovations in transportation services enable fast shipment dispersal in a shorter span of time across the national borders. So logistic has played a major role in transporting things in a real time and updating the same in the real time to the customers as well. Well, there is another interesting, very interesting technology that has emerged, that is language translation system, which have enabled employees of a business organization to interact with customers worldwide, understand their concerns, and resolve their issues. Well, this is how global business environment benefits from a stronger communication system globally and efficient business operations. Well, technological advancements in global business environment have helped them understand their cash flow needs, need for free flow of shipment, needs for proper inventory management, need for proper tracking and monitoring of shipment, and need for proper communication with clients in a much more efficient, faster processes, thereby saving time and physical space. Low cost internet services and World Wide Web have also enabled business to grow internationally and cater the global needs very easily. Well, it has impacted with the advancement in the technology. Stronger communications are being facilitated among employees of a business. Customer shipment coordinates, all those who are associated with a global business environment, directly or indirectly. Well, this has helped to keep aside all social tensions, distrust, and formation of cliques, which might have a negative impact on the business to a large extent. Well, instead, it has helped develop a strong bond between the employees and the customers of a business. Well, business security is also improved. Well, businesses are often subject to threats. In order to expand globally, businesses have started expanding online through internet services. This gets and them exposed to cyber crime threats. With the technological innovation in line, especially in the form of AI and machine learning, businesses can now monitor and secure financial transactions, client-related data, various confidential reports, and other proprietary information. With the help of cloud computing, employees can now access to all business and client-related data along with communicating with their clients and other employees while traveling or working remotely, even without direct active management of the data. Well, there is a flip side as well. Definitely, we are improving at a very faster pace. But the other aspect of coin is also the darker side, also competing at the same pace. In the recent past, I hope you are familiar with the hacking of data of AIMS facility by a hacker. So who hacked the data of patients and other reports as well. So this kind of threat is still prevailing. So there is a still need to run at the pace so that it is more secure in the environment. As well as research capacity, all businesses need to expand both the line of production capacity and client base. Well, technology helps meet the business with newer opportunities by facilitating enough research and development. This enables a business realize newer dimensions to expand both domestically and as well as internationally, along with facing competition in the world market. Well, internet has enabled businesses to access data on global markets without facing the cost or traveling or risk of creating separate production plant abroad. Well, as far as the trends in technological environment is concerned, well, a global business environment cannot function without a technological environment. The more technology evolves, the greater the benefits obtained by the business from it. Well, some of the important ways in which technology has helped a business globally may be summarized in some of the points, like excuse me. One is globalization of the market. You have seen with the openness of economies, markets are globalized. Now you can purchase your desired product from one country or another country. It may be shipped to you. It's a global logistic uh, network that helped in this way. Well, now there is a concept of technological innovation. So technologies are developed one place and they are transferred globally. So I hope you recall slide in the previous session where we see our imports or a major import funding from foreign countries is by the export of software services. So you can see what was the chunk of total income we are receiving from the export of software. Well, then there is a concept of cloud computing. It's availability of storage space in the cloud. It has improved a very good aspect also. So now it's an upcoming aspect, that is 3D printing services. So it's definitely a very really interesting aspect when you can have a three-dimensional feature for any product, and on the basis of 3D printers it can be printed anywhere. And one recent negative aspect of this was that criminal, I think a criminal printed a gun using a 3D printer, which was used for attacking to the premier of the Japan. So this is the kind of technology that is available and that may be landed in the patents. And mobile payment services, we all are familiar and using them for one or another purpose. So it is a very advancement. We can pay for our services without putting reaching to our purse. So, in just click of a button from one account to another account. So, these mobile payment services are very enabling services, and it has reduced the currency transaction physically. Then, customer relationship management software services, translation and language learning software and services. This is also very crucial and important service. So you can see in your surrounding, we are connected with the global market, not only global market, in the local market also there may be certain language differences among ourselves. So to cross that barrier, definitely there is a requirement for understanding the language learning. There is an understand requirement for translation as well from one language to another language, whether it is a localized way, whether it for localized purposes, whether it is for the international or global market. And this is all done by the AI-based understanding of the softwares or tools. Then AI and machine learning is also playing important in an n number of ways. AI-based tools are useful in weather prediction, weather forecasting, modeling, and upgrading other aspects also, planning also, then training services through digital platform. We all understand there is a huge need of trained manpower, and the persons who you can say are the resource person, a limited number. They need to reach to larger places, larger number of audiences, and those audience are at scattered places. So for that purpose, there is a improvement, regular upgradation and improvement in the digital platform. And through digital platform, the dissemination of training services has expanded its base from one place to another place in a very efficient manner. And unfortunately, if you recall correctly or correctly, so in the recent pandemic of Corona, see all the education was, since all the activities were stalled, all the non-essential activities are stalled, including the education organizations and institutions were also closed, shut down for the problem associated with the Corona or epidemic. So for that purpose, the digital platforms that have enabled online learning very easy and very accessible to a larger section of the society. So it's an interesting aspect which you can connect with the technological improvement and globalization of production processes. It is possible now. Production processes are not restricted in one place. It is possible that one raw material is produced in one country, another raw material, another part of the product is produced from the B country, and they all assemble together in this country C, and they are sold in the country D. So it's a kind of global globalization of production processes where A, B, C, three destinations are merged, and they are selling their product in country D, and A, B, C are depending on the economic aspect also, or their technological advancement also. Then logistics tracking technology. This is one of the, I think we can connect it to correctly. It is one of the very interesting and very appreciating technology because assumably when you're looking for any product, when you're looking for anything, so your desire kept on increasing. It's not satisfied as long as you don't know the actual status. You are curious about the exact status of your order, or exact status of your product, or exact status of the product that is moving towards you. So for that purpose, there is a requirement for proper logistic tracking technology. So this technology has got some positive aspect in another aspect also. So there is a concept of vehicle thefts on regular intervals. So there is a concept of vehicle on hire services. So at times there was a possibility that the driver is claiming to be claiming that their vehicle is out of order, and the owner of the vehicle trusting on him, realizing that vehicle was out of order for that much of hours, and in the meantime, the driver was still using that, making some private profits also. But the availability of logistic tracking technology, he can't put a lie. He can't confuse its own owner because the vehicle is on real-time monitoring mechanism. His vehicle is regularly monitored. Exactly what is the station, what is the position of that vehicle. So this kind of tracking is very helpful. So not only vehicle tracking, there is a possibility of tracking a product as well. So they can be tracked through various magnetic devices. They act as a sensor. So those sensor once activated releases a signal, and those signals are received by the proper receiving mechanism, including mobile devices also. And likewise, they are monitored in real time. So exact locations are logged in and updated to the customer. So this gives a sort of satisfaction. It gives a sort of understanding exactly what is the status of their order, what is the position of their order, and how efficiently the system is working. And it also the positive feedback or efficiency of this system enables more and more business return or growth in the business as well. And the last block in this feature is the biotechnology aspect. So biotechnology is basically implementation or usage of plants and animals for the welfare of the mankind. So it has got huge potential. There is a very lengthy section in this unit covering the biotechnological development, its role in the business environment, or connecting to the business environment as well. And e-commerce, there are various parameters, sub-parameters within these technological advancements that are connected with the e-commerce. In total, they are considered as a component of commerce as well. So e-commerce has grown very farther way, and the facilities or players like Amazon, eBay, Flipkart, uh, many other players, many other Alibaba, so many other players, local as well as the global, as well as dedicated service providers have enabled a reach to the specific segment of customers as well as to the larger segment of customers. In this e-commerce platform system, realizing the importance and robustness of the system, the government of India has itself come up with its own indigenous platform that is called as GEM, GEM. So this GEM portal that is initiated or a brainchild of Indian government, basically a facilitator platform for buyers and sellers, at least specifically to the government sectors, to the sectors that are associated with the government bodies. So, I think there is a mandatory encouragement to the government sector to buy from this sector, this platform only, this GEM platform. It has increased the transparency. Well, it has increased the regular monitoring and efficiency as well on a real-time basis. And this e-commerce platform GEM that I'm connecting here is GEM has shown a huge growth in its turnover, transactions, and more product, more and more services are being enabled or put up on the platform of on the e-commerce platform of GEM. So this is also local acceptance to a concept that has emerged from foreign country and spread across beyond boundaries like Amazon also. And telecommunication is also a very interesting sector that considered as an example in the very beginning, using a mobile phone. So, from starting with a simple calling facility to merging of pager facility and phone facility to the entertainment aspect to access to the internet, email, browsing to now using mobile phone for the purpose of payments also. So this way, telecommunication has played an important role as a technological environment upgradation in the aspect. Similarly, blockchain has played an important role, and transportation directly or indirectly we connected in some aspects during the discussions, like in the logistic tracking and other aspects also. So let's try to go through some of them because they are very large in number and it's not possible to cover them all. I hope I touched them individually somehow. Well, the major component that is biotechnology that I mentioned, I think I shared its definition well in beginning. So, with the rise of digital innovations such as cellular phones, computers, and wireless technologies, advancement have not evolved in efficient communication productivity, but has also extended its effort towards medical and agricultural use as well. And there are certain important uses in the of biology sector. The fusion of science and technology have bred a common bionic name, immense to disease through advanced technology in prosthetic cell regeneration through stem cell research and laboratory engineered drugs, which help in preventing or curing of diseases like HIV or cancer. Well, in pharmaceutical advancements are widespread through the raw material reserves of China, arrival of biotech companies such as Gentech and Newmark, which is acquired by Swiss biotech company Serena, and India's emergence as a major supplier of effective and affordable drug, are the largest and most generic pharmaceutical company in vaccine. Well, biotech companies have made attempts to discover genetic abnormalities and thereafter, therefore, medical solutions through exploring or organism at a molecular level or formulation of compounds from organic material that reflect organic substances. Manipulation of DNA in laboratories also extended beyond common human research. While demand for corn-derived ethanol as a fuel alternative saw a rise in US due to uncertain future oil supplies. However, usage of corn as a biofuel not only increased the price of fuel, but also created an imbalance between the corn that is used as a biofuel and the corn consumed. Well, hence, many global companies are working in collaboration towards creation of genetically modified seeds like drought-tolerant corn and herbicide-tolerant soybeans. These technological advancements have not only led to nutritionally advanced crops but also helped fight hunger worldwide. BT cotton is another variety in this regard, which is somehow pest resistant, and advanced varieties are also coming up. The biotechnology advancements have also benefited the meat industry worldwide. The collaborative work of researchers in US and Japan is eliminating the gene which might be responsible for certain ailments in animals, has engineered a solution to the outbreak of certain diseases arising from meat consumption. Furthermore, animal cloning has rose to high demand, where a copy of pre-existing animal DNA can speed up food production with the increase in production of meat or dairy producing animals. While US, South Korea, Japan, Australia, Italy, New Zealand, China are coming up are the most active animal cloning countries. Well, biotechnological advancement have also benefited the meat industry worldwide. The collaborative work of research in US and Japan is eliminating. Uh, then let's come into e-commerce. E-commerce, I think we touched somehow in detail in the earlier section. Telecommunication, yes, transportation, then globalization of production services. Like, it involves a network of strong worldwide communication that's become essential to facilitate globalization of production for multinational firms like Texas Instruments and US-based electronics firms, for example, have approximately 50 plants across 19 countries. A system on satellite-based communication allows the firm to coordinate and monitor its production system in all those 50 plants located globally. That include the planning of production processes, accounting and financial planning, marketing of products, facilitation of customer services, and human resource management as well. Well, technology transfer, blockchain. Well, blockchain is a system of recording information that completely prohibits to change, hack, or cheat the system. It is essentially a digital ledger of transaction that is duplicated and distributed across the entire network of computer system in blockchain. Well, blockchain and blockchain-based distributed ledger technologies are creating a tremendous impact both in global trade supply chain as well as in the global trade financially. It is not only makes the shipment of goods more convenient, but also simplifies the long and tedious process of obtaining a letter of credit (LOC), a payment mechanism that is used in global trade. Well, AI definitely it's very interesting and related aspect. It's evolving on a day-to-day basis. 3D printing, mobile payment services, cloud computing, logistic trading technology, translation, and so it has impacted almost all the aspects. So with this, I wish to conclude today's session. Namaskar.
नहीं वो ठीक है मैडम वो तो आप करना